Joy, they're pouring in right now. Pouring in. Guys, this is we knew everyone was super interested in this. I'm so excited. We're going to give y'all a second to hop on. This is a really exciting topic. We have such a great guest. The sun is shining here in Tennessee. It's finally warming up today. Are you finally getting warm weather, Joy?
We've had the most mild winter, so we can't complain.
Okay, you can't complain.
Us Chicago tough breed. It's been
Yes.
pretty mild, but it is. It's nice. It's nice to have spring and the longer sunshine days, right?
Isn't that great? Did you go
Yeah.
to the St. Patty's parade?
And watch the river get dyed. It's a tradition every year here. Big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on social. I keep saying one St. Patty's Day. I'm definitely going to go to Chicago to see that in person. How long
Yeah.
does it stay green?
It actually fades pretty quickly, but they've done a great job. I want to say they've been doing it for almost 100 years. It's like the plumber union or something that does it, but
Okay.
it's really remarkable. It's truly worth seeing. It's
Yeah.
really exceptional. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, welcome everyone to our March. We're in March to our March webinar on revolutionizing high school outreach. Reminder, everyone will get a recording to the webinar tomorrow, and then we'll add it into our upcoming April newsletter. I'm just going to go over a few items here before we directly jump in. I want to remind everyone that we are active at events. So we started this, a few years ago. We love to have our booth, meet with our members in person, meet with potential members. So we're going to be at all 4 NACAS events, including the one this weekend in Orlando. And we're just going to be at lots of events this year. So, check us out, stop by our booths, send me an email ahead of time. Let's plan to meet up. I would absolutely love that. And then while I have your attention, I want to tell you guys that Beauty Schools Directory is crushing it for so many of our clients. We work with over 300 schools. And I will tell you, one of the reasons we came up with this topic is because we are having so many high school students request information on BSD. I think last time I checked, which was in December or January, like 22% of our lead flow was upcoming graduates, which was insane to me, like super big number. So that is one of the reasons why we wanted to have this webinar today. Beauty Schools Directory is available in your area, and 90% of our leads do not go to school websites. They are specific to going to a directory, like you might go to Yelp to find a restaurant. People come to a directory to find a school. So if you want potential leads, again, this is not to replace what you're doing. Keep doing PPC, keep doing social, keep doing website. If you need extra leads that lead to extra enrollments, we're inexpensive. We're 20 bucks a lead. And we have today one of our BSD clients and a good friend of mine. We've been on so many webinars together. Welcome, Joy. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about you and Tricoci?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And I'm just going to do a little plug for BSD as well. We only use this one PPL channel as BSD. We use no others. So we're very picky, obviously. So hats off to Jen and the Beauty School Directory group because we're that selective and it's the only one we use. So what else can I say about it, right?
Love it. Thank you.
Um, and thank you for having me. My name is Joy McClure. I've been in the higher ed industry for over 20 years. I've worked in admissions and marketing the entire time. I'm really passionate about it. I'm currently the chief admissions officer for Tricoci University. I've been here for over 5 years. I love this industry. I love this space. I never get tired of helping students pursue their passion and make their dreams become a reality. So I just feel blessed to be in this industry and really believe in it wholeheartedly.
Awesome. I can see the passion with you every time we chat. I feel like you do have a lot of passion for this industry. So that is you need to have that. You love your job. Guys, what we're going to be doing today is something a little different. We are going to be having some polls throughout. So if they pop up, hopefully they do. This is my first time launching them. I'm new here. I'm not great with this stuff, but we're going to try polls today. Um, but what we always do is we encourage you to get in the chat for comments, questions, and compliments. That's what I always say. Those are the 3 things you can add in the chat. If you want to talk to each other, if you see a question there that you know the answer to, add that in there because we're really curious about some of the things you guys are doing in your high schools, in your local high schools with your outreach strategy. So let's go ahead and get started on why this topic I think is so big this year. I will go on record saying schools that win in 2024 will be killing it, will be crushing it in high schools this year. We are seeing record number of high school students choose vocational education and a different career path other than a traditional 4-year university. So Joy, I am never going to ask a woman her age, but I want you to go back and tell me about when you were in high school. I mean, did you see this? Because when I graduated, everything was all about like 4-year schools. Everyone was going to college. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it was very different generation. I'm a Gen Xer, and you knew that you were very willing to take out student loans to go to school, that you were going to use financial aid, but no matter what, you were going to go to a traditional 4-year university. It was definitely, that was the plan.
Yep. And today, you guys, Gen Zers, the reports are showing that 50% of them are choosing something other than traditional education. And I also read a study a couple weeks ago that said 64% of Gen Z kids who chose college, 64% wish they chose something else if they knew about it. And this is why I say scream it from the rooftops. Get in your high schools. It's the ones who are talking about it that are going to be winning. So let's go ahead and jump into some questions. Tricoci, you guys have 15 campuses, is that correct?
Yep, we have 15. We're throughout the Midwest and 15 campuses. Yes.
Okay, so share with our audience how you guys are set up when it comes to doing event outreach. Do you have an event coordinator? Is this an all hands on deck? How are you guys doing it? Because I know it's going to be different for like a small mom and pop, one campus school.
I think though, what I can share with the group would apply for all of the different people who are attending. So whether you're a smaller school group with 1, maybe 2 campuses, or you have 50 across all of the United States. We really are in all different markets. So we have some real urban schools with larger populations, and then we have some suburban schools, and then we definitely have some that are in smaller rural areas as well. And so it's a combination of all of those examples that you just mentioned, Jen. So when we are going to the different high schools, we do have one person that kind of organizes the whole, I don't know why that happened, sorry, that organizes the whole program for us, but as one person, they're not going to be able to go out to all of those campuses. And they really report up through admissions and marketing. And they're really in charge of helping us get the outreach and the name out there. But when it comes to the boots on the ground and who goes to the campus to visit the high school visits, or if it's a college fair, a lot of times it's somebody from that local school because they have the best connection with the school. If we're going to a school that I graduated from, if I'm a student at Tricoci and I graduated from that high school, I would probably be invited to go with. I'm an alumni from Buffalo Grove High School. Now I'm at Tricoci University. Who better to speak on our behalf than somebody who graduated from that high school, knows all the guidance counselors and teachers, and they can really share firsthand experience what it's been like for them as a school, what Tricoci University has provided for them. So we really try to bring alumni from the high school that we're visiting. Yeah.
I never even thought about that. I'm a big Office fan, and that's what they do when they like go to the high school. Remember Pam goes back to like her high school, just like going in the art room.
And if it was good enough for Pam, it's good enough for no.
That's what I'm saying. I think that really is a genius idea. It's like, let's look at our staff. Where did they go to school? And that really does have a different touch. And I think high schools, like even the guidance counselors, people who plan this would love that sort of outreach. So I do want to chat about high school counselors. Hold on. Let me try a poll.
Let's hope it works.
Let's try exactly. High school counselors. All right. Did that work? Is it showing? Yep. Okay, yep. Yay. Okay, awesome. We want to know how your relationship is with your local high school counselors. So we have great, we're on a first name basis. We have moderate, we could do better, or we have non-existent. Were we supposed to know our high school counselors? So we still have a lot of people doing this poll. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, we had a lot of participants in this one. Let's share the results here. Is it sharing? It's so funny. It's like I can see my side. Okay, you can see it. That's great.
Yep.
All right. So we are seeing, ooh, 33% have zero relationship with their high school counselors. So glad you're here on this webinar because I think there is a lot of gold in this. We have a very small percentage that has that relationship, and about half say that they could do better. Let's chat about that. What are your thoughts on relationships, Joy, with high school counselors?
So we feel it's incredibly valuable. So we were really going after the high school market as a new avenue for us starting right during COVID. So we had bad timing, unfortunately. But when we were doing this, we wanted to do it largely because the benefit of the high school market is it's really like a crop that just replaces itself every single year. So I don't need to go out and find those leads. A new group will come up as high school seniors and they just rise. And we knew that there was a swell in high school senior population. So it was a smart time to go after it.
Okay.
So our relationship with the high school guidance counselors, we invite them in so they can try free services for a day and do a guidance counselor event with us. So it's a great way for them to really understand what the school is like, talk to some of the students who attend there. Obviously get some pampering. Who doesn't love that? That's just one of the benefits of being in the
And
beauty
how are
industry.
you inviting them? Do you have their emails or are you sending them? Okay, so you just have like their own email list and you're saying, come to our school on this day for a high
Yeah,
school counselor event.
yeah. And we'll send them either I don't want to say a coupon because that sounds pretty dated, right? But like some sort of certificate so they can come in. We like to do them together as one day so they could all
Yeah.
come in at one day. That would be the real win. Our experience is that they like to do it on Fridays, then they can have a long weekend because they did a college visit while they did it. So creating some what's in it for me, if I'm the guidance counselor, why am I going to spend time on your campus versus somewhere else? So that has been very successful for us. We also have different high school initiatives. We did a prom dress drive just recently, so people could donate their old prom dresses, shoes, jewelry, whatever, and get a percentage off of their clinic service if they were a guest visiting our clinic. And
Okay.
then we opened up shopping for the local community where people could come in and shop for free. So we had donated items. They were able to get a discount on their service, and then people in need could come in. And so different ways like that of connecting with the local high schools and letting them know that we had the service available. So if they had high
Yeah.
school seniors that really wanted to go to prom and they knew might benefit from coming in and doing something like that, that's just one way to get the messaging out. We do a big competition at the end of the year called the Beauty Blitz, or that's what we called it last year, where the students all compete. We invite the high school students and the seniors, if there's teachers in the area, to come in and come and attend that event. We have open houses. We have a summer picnic that we do. So anything that somebody would want to be able to attend. So maybe I don't want to come get spa services or I can't go during the day. We offer them at night, whatever works for the group that we're trying to connect with. And guidance counselors really have a lot of influence over the students. And so we definitely want them to know about us and to feel confident that they can send their students our way and that we'll take great care of them.
I mean, let's chat about that specifically with high school students. And I do want to like pause on the event ideas because I want to get back talking about that in a few minutes. But I mean, high school counselors, they're usually required, right, to meet with every student at some point before graduation to make sure they have a plan. What are you doing with your life? Is it work? Are you, what school are you going to? So they really have the pulse on what type of education that these people are going to be looking for. And so I think even giving them collateral, or even when they're at your school for like a high school counselor luncheon or, a presentation, we're saying these are the types of students that do well here. People who are, like hands-on education. Girls that are obsessed with TikTok and YouTube, because we know they're looking at like beauty tutorials, people that are artistic, like telling them the type of clientele or the type of student that you attract so that they can start thinking like, this person does not actually have a plan. Maybe you would, come up in their mind. So, and then making sure we're giving them brochures to give to these kids, all of that. So when it comes to those relationships, how often should you be reaching out to your high school counselors? A couple
So
times a year
yeah,
or?
we definitely do a couple times a year. So we want to go there in the fall so that we can get rising seniors, but we definitely wouldn't leave out the spring. We know that people haven't made all of their decisions. A lot of our students haven't. They're torn between, do I want to go to a traditional 4-year school or am I looking at going down a different path?
Yeah.
So we definitely want to hit the schools at a minimum twice a year at the start of the school year and then at the end of the school year. We're also not afraid to connect with the younger students. We wouldn't necessarily be able to do full interviews with them and things like that because they're not ready, but we really want us to be in the top of their mind when they are in that decision-making state. So we're front of mind when they are ready to be seniors and think about where they want to go to university.
I'm really glad you said that because, in admissions, we're often like, I just want the hottest lead, which is the person who can enroll right
Yeah,
this
yeah.
second.
Because I have a budget or I have a new class start I need
Yes.
to bring in. Yes,
But
exactly.
building that pipeline because
Yeah.
we know that these kids are going to have to make a decision. So just, making sure you're adding in your CRM when their grad date is, I think
Yep.
is super important so that we can, make sure our messaging is really good for them. I do see in the chat some of your questions also, you guys, about events specifically. So we are going to get to those. Another thing I wanted to remind you all is high school counselors, guys, they're not making $100,000 a year. Like we need to pamper them, which is why I loved how you said, bring them in for a facial, bring them in for a blowout, give them flowers. I remember when I worked at a school, that's one thing we did once a year. It was once a year. We would bring flowers and candy and not coupon. They were like, again, like free blowups, things like
Certificates
that.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Certificates
little
of the,
swag bag
yeah.
with like little, little
Samples.
shampoos and yeah, little samples, little products. We would give a swag bag to every high school counselor in the area and drop off our collateral. And that's how we would start that relationship. Are you finding that there's turnover too, where you're seeing different counselors, or does that seem to be a position where it's kind of the same name that's on your email list? Do you have any insight on
I
that?
no, I do think I would just say if you looked at pre-COVID versus post-COVID, there's been quite a bit of turnover, if we're being honest.
Okay.
So yes, and I think more for us, again, it does vary somewhat by market. If it's we have campuses in an urban area, there's been more turnover for whatever reason versus the
Okay.
suburban and rural areas. But we still need to make our presence known. And so we're going to meet the new people and really
Yeah.
build those relationships all over again. It's okay. We can do it.
Really, really good. Okay, let's go ahead to our chat before we move on to our next section and get some of these questions out of the way here. What is your beauty blitz? Can you go? That was what someone asked. Can you tell us what that?
Yes, I wish we had a long time and I could even show a video of it. So the Beauty Blitz is something that we do that it's staggered. So we have 15 campuses and you have to qualify into these very specific categories, whether it's color, whether, nails, everybody gets a seat at the table to participate. Last year we just turned 20 this year, so yay to two
Congrats.
decades. And yeah. So our theme was the 1920s, which was very, very cool. So avant-garde 1920s. And the culmination of all of these, you have to compete, compete, compete. And then the top of the top come in. And we had this huge space in downtown Chicago. We had guest judges. Mario Tricoci was there as a judge. Legends in the space were there to judge this competition. And so it's this huge competition, you know, it was barber battles, it was everything you can imagine. It was probably the highlight of every Tricoci student's career while they're a student here. So to bring in the prospective students to attend an event like that, along with the guidance counselors and the
Yeah,
parents, you couldn't fall in love with the beauty industry any more than you do on that day. And so it's a huge recognition for those who attend the school, but it's a great way to showcase the best of the best and what's possible and what's out there. And when you get an opportunity to speak with all these legends, we had area where a lot of our spa partners were. So, you know, if you wanted to recruit students, you know, it was a great place for future employers to come in. Dermalogica was there, a whole bunch of different vendors. So they got tons of
right.
swag. It was really remarkable. It's definitely worth doing. It's probably the pinnacle of our high school recruiting.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds great. And again, like even if you are a small one or two campus school, I it's almost easier. Like I don't want that to
I would
sound,
argue it is. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
15 campuses, even to like set up all the qualifications and try to, get everyone to this location and all those different campuses, guys, that can be harder. This is where like I really think there's an advantage to having a couple campuses, five, three,
Yeah.
one, where it's like it's easier to plan for an event like that. And how fun for the students. Like
Yep.
that would be something they look forward to literally all year long. So, and
Yep.
I love that you're inviting high school students to that. Open houses. Do you guys have specific open houses for high school recruitment?
We do. And so that might be where we have a guest speaker who's coming in and they're
Yeah.
doing different demos. We want it to be a real hands-on experience. So we recently rolled out in our curriculum. We work really closely with our education partners. We recently rolled out lash extensions and the keratin treatment. So we really want the prospective students to come in and see these demos that they're going to be able to learn how to do.
Mhm.
Um, you know, not just finger waves and things that were super traditional that have been there forever, but some of the new services as well. So it's a great way for us to showcase the curriculum. So that partnership with our education team is really key. But we
Love it.
absolutely invite them in and it's always a hands-on demo so they can learn how to
I
do.
think that's great. Yeah, we love the hands-on. We don't want someone to come in and have a boring presentation, right? And oh, and
Yeah.
feed them, right? Like give them, go to
Oh yeah.
Costco, like grab food, have some
Yeah.
snacks there. Can I just say, let me just like pause and say, I am so grateful to have guests like Joy who come onto these webinars and they don't gatekeep. I always say pretty girls don't gatekeep. That's like my saying. I think I coined it. Pretty girls don't gatekeep. If someone compliments, something you're wearing, tell them where you got it. Like, let's not gatekeep things. I love that this community is so open to share with each other because guys, we're really not competitors with each other. We are a community and we are really competing against four-year schools, against community colleges, against other trades, against someone going straight into a job. So I love that you are so willing, and I know our guests, I know our attendees are super grateful that you guys are willing to share all your good secrets, what you're doing at Tricoci. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of beauty blitzes happening because the chat is loving that
Oh,
idea.
good. Good.
So that's great. I have another really great question here. How often are you reaching out to younger students, like sophomores and juniors, if they express interest in at a career
Yeah.
fair?
So we definitely, they still go in our database system. We call some marketers might say those are your MQLs and your SQLs, or for us, they're really in a nurture bucket and we need to know when they're going to graduate. And we send
Sure.
out quarterly gated content, things like that, just to keep them engaged, invite them to all of the different events that we have going on. The more touch points, the better. And then it's just like what you described though, Jen. So if we have them in this little warmer over here, once they become seniors, we just turn the spigot on. And again, now we have this new crop of students who are really interested in us because we've been engaging with them for years. So
Yeah.
it's still
You
long
know,
game and it's definitely smart though. Doesn't
Well,
cost us.
what's really smart about that is it's not so much how often you reach out, but more so what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, with our current list of leads, which we're actively working, right? We all have like older leads that requested information that obviously have graduated high school, years ago, that we're reaching out to. And when we reach out to those leads, it's like, hey, I want to get you in here for a tour. Let's chat about next steps. We have this upcoming class start. That's more like what I call to action text. If someone's a junior, there's not really a great call to action other than look what fun stuff we're doing. Check out the latest TikTok, that we just did. Look at this, here's a how-to on how to do a waterfall braid, or this is how to take care of your skin in the winter. Like we are just educating and keeping top of mind. So I think what's really important is while we're nurturing these people, again, it's not so much how often should I be reaching out? It's what value can I bring to this potential lead now so that when they do become a senior, we're their first thought. Would you agree with that? So you guys have kind of a different strategy?
Yeah, whether it's, have you thought about, it's soon you're gonna be thinking about high school scholarships, soon
Yeah.
whether it's trends in terms of the industry, or if we have new things added to the curriculum, like I just shared, we would certainly announce that and send it. So yeah, anything that we think would be really relevant that they would care to hear about, absolutely.
Love it. Okay, guys, let's go on to our next question. Let's make sure I launch this right. Here I go. What staff member primarily handles your high school events? Is it a marketing team, your admissions team? Is it your educators? Do you have an event specific coordinator in your school? Or kind of like Joy said, does it just take a village? Where, it's going to vary. We're going to give that a few more seconds. I will tell you there is an overwhelming response to one of these. Can you guess what it is, Joy?
I closed it. Is it admissions?
Yeah, you got it. We're gonna go ahead and end this poll because it is absolutely overwhelmingly admissions is usually the ones that are in charge of doing high school events. Joy, admissions, everything falls on them. They
I
got to
know.
do everything.
Mhm.
How can they do this during high school season, when we are actively at the schools? Can you share any sort of like best practices on, let's say you're a 1 or 2 campus school and you're in admissions, you're reaching out to old leads, you're reaching out to new leads, you're doing tours all day. Now you got to be in the high schools, like, geez, Louise, pile it on these kids. Can you give us any tips on how
Yeah.
you can manage this?
Yeah, and because we really do have some smaller campuses, and then we have, these great huge campuses. And if you're at a larger campus, you probably have more than one admissions advisor, so you can certainly parcel this out. But we really do bring current students that are alumni from those high schools. We have brought educators with us but it's the same. I can tell you our educators have full classes, so it's not like they can just drop their class and come into a classroom with us.
True.
So we tend to try to bring current students that graduated from that high school with us because, again, they're alumni from that local high school. They know the guidance counselors. They're really excited to go in there. We have one person that just kind of helps organize the event so that all the tables look the same and everybody has the swag that they need, things like that. But each of the schools locally are really accountable for going and doing their high school visits. If they got sick or something, maybe I would go even. We all roll up our sleeves. We all wear all the hats. Nobody's too above any position. We all do all the
Sure.
things. A member of my team is at a high school event right now, actually. So and we love it. We love doing that networking. If you're in admissions, we love talking. We're not shy normally. We're pretty outgoing. And so you can stick us on a stage and we can usually give a good presentation, which happens a lot of the time. So it's just a lot about time management. We do have periods of time where we won't schedule a high school visit. If it's the week of a class start or right before a class start, we simply
Okay.
just don't have the bandwidth to do it. So you have to work whatever is best for you. Our class starts are every 6 weeks, so we have some blackout periods where the admissions advisor themselves probably wouldn't be able to go do the high school visit just to make
Yeah.
sense of it. So you really need to make
What about students? Are you allowed to bring them?
yeah, we bring our current students with us.
And
because
I
if,
think that does vary in some areas. I think I think you really need to check with your state to make sure, because I know in some you can get hours for being outside of the classroom. You can get hours for going to, the high school fair, but I know that some states don't allow that. So
yeah, I
just
mean,
for
and the
me.
high schools are very strict about who can come in and out of a high
Got
school.
you.
So you are 100% right. You need to do what works best in your community. I
Yes.
do feel like in some of these smaller communities, like what I was describing, there's a
Mhm.
little bit more openness to that. But if you can, it is a best practice if it's possible. Certainly don't break any rules, but if it's possible, I do find it to be really compelling to have students come up and talk to somebody who graduated from that high school, or like I shared before, the high school guidance counselors know that person or their teachers are there. So they usually have a sense of pride about it, and who better to represent your school than somebody who's going there and having a great experience. So,
Yes. Yes, I
but for
agree.
sure, you can't break any rules. I'm not suggesting that whatsoever.
No, for sure. That's why I just wanted to tell. And of course, the chat is already like, yeah, we can do it in our state. And some are like, well, we're not allowed to do it here.
Yeah.
So, you do have to check. And by the way, loving your questions about swag. Good news, guys. Swag is coming. I got a poll for swag. And and then I also got we have pictures of what Tricoci is doing. And so we're gonna have a whole swag section that we're gonna be chatting about. Let's chat a little bit more though about, you're at a high school. Are you doing like a single presentation to a group of kids? Are there any one-on-one times? Or are you like in a room with the military and all the other schools? How does it
I
work?
know. So it really does vary. So I shared earlier that I have somebody on my team and another admissions advisor at a high school event right now. They'll be in an auditorium presenting. That's the best possible.
Okay.
I mean, that means you've really worked a relationship. They love you. They're letting you come in and present to the students. So
Yeah.
that's like best case scenario, right? That's dream state. But I can't tell you how many times we've been in just the lunchroom at a table on the side.
Mhm.
And you're hoping people come over and talk to you, and they're shy and awkward. I mean, high schoolers are going through a lot of transition in their lives. And so
Yeah.
they are shy and awkward. So how do you engage with them? And I know you have pictures of this as well. We have found one of the best ways. We can bring mannequins in. People love, as creepy as they look on a table, they love to come over and see the mannequins, mess with the hair. So if you can bring mannequins, that's always a hit. Not everybody would let you bring that into a lunchroom, so don't light me up in the chat about that. I get it. But we do have iPads in there that are on a stand, and we have videos running. We know that this generation is definitely attracted to video, so they want to see it. So we have videos from the Beauty Blitz, things like that, that really showcase key moments of our
Such a
education.
good idea to have even something like that on a loop playing at your table. Someone
Yeah.
asked specifically about the auditorium presentations, which, by the way, guys, goes back to exactly what Joy mentioned at the beginning. High school counselor relationships are so important
Yeah.
because you're going to get opportunities like that. The better you have the relationship, with that school. So when it comes to like, let's say you do get a presentation, are they 5 minutes? Are they 15 minutes? And what are you saying?
So this one, we're at a very specific school in the Chicago area today, and it is in an auditorium. And we're really covering what is education like, what is higher education like, and then what do we offer, and what does this look like? And so we're really answering questions that may come up, but we are really presenting about what does it look like to go to beauty school, and just we have a lot to show and to share. We're very generous with that information, and it is from building those relationships that we're able to go in and have an auditorium audience. But I want to say it's 30 minutes maybe. It's a decent
Okay,
amount of time.
that really is a
Yeah.
decent amount of time. You know
They're
what would
not
be
going to
cool?
fill everybody in an auditorium and only be there for 2 seconds. So it's a legit meeting. And I want to
Yeah.
say they have multiple periods coming in. So they're
I
probably
mean, if
presenting
you
two or
can
three
get
different.
like a well-spoken student
Mhm.
who went to that school, chose a different school, like went into like nursing school because her mom told her to, and then she dropped
Yeah.
out, and then she came to Tricoci, and it changed her life, and she loves, like, that is the gold. Like if you can just have like a personal story, I will tell you guys that stories always sell. So if you can even just share a personal experience, or I enrolled someone last year and this was their experience, I met them here, in this lunchroom and they came to our school and now they're working at this salon. Like, I think that, you know, if you're going to be sharing anything, share stories because people remember that they're emotional, and that I think connects really, really well with the student population. I love that someone wrote in the chat that they do hair tinsel at the booths.
Mm-hmm.
Genius. Like, yes, little stuff like that. You know, every girl wants that. That's really in right now. And I love how that trend is coming back around. It was in like 15 years ago and now it's coming back and I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
What do
we've
you
got like glitter freckles, hair
Yes,
tinsel, anything
yes,
that's interactive like that. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think it's great. I do want to ask you about the types because you've been to some events and of course your team is at events. I have been chatting when I'm at conferences and I'm asking people like, what have you noticed? What kind of shift have you noticed in the type of people that come up to your booth now, as opposed to even 5 years ago? And I am hearing now, Joy, a lot of people say, influencers, like they want to be influencers. Like people are coming in beauty education because of TikTok, because of YouTube,
Mhm.
and they want to be creators, and that got them into beauty. So, you know, maybe that's something, or maybe you've noticed other things. Have you noticed other trends with the types of people that are coming up to your booth and that you're having conversations with?
Yeah, and I think that that's really one of the most amazing parts. Our industry has exploded, it's expanded. We're really not limited to being behind a chair anymore. You can do so
Ah,
many more things. And so, absolutely, we've incorporated it into our curriculum. So it's something that they learn while they're at campus, even as part of the curriculum, because whether they're going to be an influencer or not, it's how they're going to build their book of business. So they're going to need to know how to do that. Um, so it's something that's covered. We love it when students come up to our prospective students come up and they talk to us about that because we couldn't agree more that that's a huge industry and it's a huge space. So
it really is.
we're here for it. We're right there with them.
And honestly, that's something we have to pivot toward. I'm just going to do a shameless plug for me. I created a workshop, a training. It's a 1 hour video you can download. You can stream it into your class right now. 39 beauty schools are now using it. And it's a training on how to make money on TikTok,
Mhm.
specifically with TikTok Shop. So I never teach anything unless I try it myself. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, I'm very active talking about it. Guys, I'm not in my 20s. I'm not young and pretty like these students that are enrolling. They can do a lot better than I can. But I mean, in the month of February, I made $23,000 off a TikTok shop. And I'm not selling anything. I am just literally saying, this is a sweater I bought, you should buy it too. And I get commission every time someone clicks that link. And so I cannot stress enough how amazing doing a TikTok training for your students would be, because they want to learn how to make money on here. So in that 1 hour training, I teach them how to get followers. I teach them the right way to set up their account, how to have videos that go viral, and then how to monetize on the platform. And now I'm getting brand deals, and I don't want to be an influencer. It's really just something I'm doing so I can teach it. So I don't respond to like hardly any of the requests. But if you guys are interested, and I love that someone said that lucky sweater. Yes, yes. I made it big with like doing Valentine's Day sweaters, St. Patty's Day sweaters, like that's sort of my niche right now. Easter is doing well. But if you go to jennlyles.com/TikTok, you can see more about that training. There's pricing on there, and you just have to pay for it once and download it, and you can share it at all your campuses. So check that out. But let's get back to swag. Okay, I am going to, and I want to talk about your booth and I want to talk about swag. So let me do the swag launch. Okay. This is a short answer question because I want to know what types of swag that you guys give away. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to like type in there. And then we're going to chat about what Tricoci specifically does. And then we're going to share photos. I just want to know what you guys are doing. Are you giving away chapsticks, mirrors, pens, pencils, pop sockets? You know, there's a bunch of different things out there. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to type that in. And while they're typing that in, why don't you tell us about your booth, and then I will share photos.
Yeah. So our booth, as I mentioned, we really try to keep it interactive. So whether it's the iPads, and they're on stands, so you have to purchase the stands. And then you can have the rolling video. It's also where people can fill out their comment. You know, we have the QR codes. They can fill out lead cards right there. And I say that because during high school visits, a lot of times or oftentimes they're not allowed to have their phones with them.
Okay.
Just depends on the school. So if you just have a QR code
I
there,
wouldn't want to go to that school. That sounds terrible.
I know, but I just share that because then they can't fill out the lead form if you're relying just on a QR code. So you definitely want some sort of some sort of tablet there regardless. So we have the tablets there. It has the video going. We find the stickers to be super cost effective. We know everybody doesn't have deep pockets, especially for if you're just launching your high school market. Stickers are they're pennies, but they'll stick them on their water bottles. They stick them on their iPads. They'll stick them all over the place. So
Girls love to put stickers on their Stanley cups.
I know or their lockers, their back, wherever, but definitely on their mugs,
Stickers
right?
are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So stickers are a nice cost-effective way to do it. If we can, we like to bring the mannequin heads in so people can practice and, so that's definitely another opportunity. In terms of swag, so this is just a little marquee that sits on a desk. This is great gift for guidance counselors, just so you know. And it says Tricoci University on the top of it. They can change out the letters and put whatever they want in there. So it's just a little light up marquee that can sit on a desk. So if you want to give something nice to guidance counselors, to students who enroll, whatever you want to use it for, but
That's
this is,
cute.
yeah, and it's just something different that we haven't seen everybody else do. And then everybody probably is kind of familiar with light rings at this point, right? So this is one that you can use on your phone. You can use it on your computer. So if you need a ring light because you're on a Zoom like we are right now, this is a great tool for them to use, and it's a great branding opportunity. You can see this one has been loved a little bit. So sorry, it's not the cleanest.
No, I think that's great.
One.
And girls do love ring lights. I think that's exactly what people are looking. I mean, I don't, come on, guys. You know I have mine. I
Well,
love
and if you're an
everything.
influencer or you want to be an influencer, it tells you we're
Sure.
your language. We understand where you are in your journey. So yeah,
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and share some results. I don't know if this is it share? I don't know.
it just says that 100% answered the question.
Well, mine is saying 50 did, but I can't actually share them. Maybe I have to download them after. You know what I'll do? I think we can download them, and we're going to add that in our email tomorrow. Angie, you're on. Make a note of that. Let's just add, we'll copy and paste and see what everyone else is doing for swag. I was hoping I would be able to share. I guess I couldn't share it. My bad. Wait, let me try it one more time. No, it's not going to work. Okay, but we did have a lot of people, 56 people gave us some ideas. So we'll share that with you guys in the follow-up email and the recording to this. So yes, we love stickers. I love chapsticks that are branded. I think that's really cute. Can I just share like BSD swag, what we do when we go to events that people really like? I was able to do like a mint chapstick duo. So it's like mints on the top, chapstick on the bottom. People love that. Girls love chapstick in general, like, especially in the winter. So I always have chapstick at my booth. But one thing I did, that was a really, really great conversation starter. Thank you. Did we just add that? Oh, okay. Beauty Schools Marketing Direct Message. Can you add that into the into the chat for everyone, Angie? One thing we did was we ordered fortune cookies, and you can customize what that message says. This would be great. This would be great for your schools, because so many schools came up to our booth and they're like, I need to do this in admissions. We ordered pink cherry fortune cookies, and we customized the message. You're going to get more leads if you use Beauty Schools Directory. Obviously, that was the fortune. But it was a really great like conversation starter. And so you can customize what that message says. It's not that expensive. So there's a really cute idea for you. And thanks, Lynette. I know. Thanks for loving our mint and chapstick duos. We got some cute ones this year. Okay, let's go back to our list of questions. We're getting so many great ideas for the booth and for everything. I want to chat really quick about college visit days. So I have my hairdresser, Emily. She's amazing. And Emily went to a school here in Nashville, in Franklin, Tennessee, you know, right close by to where I live. And she went to school at Paul Mitchell in Murfreesboro, which was pretty far away. It was like 40 minutes. And if you know Nashville, there is a school on every corner. Like, I don't know what it is about Tennessee. It must be like easy to open up a school here, or I don't know what it is. They're literally on every corner. You can find a beauty school everywhere. And I'm like, why did you go all the way to Murfreesboro? And she said, because they advertised college visit days. And that's why she did that. So let me explain to you guys what that means when you're in high school. You are allowed to take off 2, 3, 4 days. You're allowed, so seniors are allowed so many days off a year in their senior year where they can go visit colleges on those days. So that's what they do. They go to the University of Alabama, Tennessee, whatever, and they will go visit usually a traditional school. Well, Paul Mitchell had advertised, like, you know, you could use that, you could use your college visit day and come into our beauty school, which y'all know anyone can do this. Like, you can do this at any beauty school, but it's always who screams at the loudest, right? It's like actually saying, we have college visit days, use your college visit days to come to our beauty school. So she did that, and she went with her parents, and that's why she enrolled there. So I want us to start thinking outside the box. What are traditional schools doing to get students? And we can probably do some of these things. So college visit days would be one. Signing days would be another, where you have a specific day designed where, like you do for a traditional school, right? A traditional school will have a day where you come in and you sign and you take their picture. You could have a photographer there. So Joy, have you guys delved into doing any that sort of stuff?
We have, and we've also looked at if we want to offer ways to help with promposals, or so this ties to the social
Oh, that's
media
a cute
idea,
idea.
right? So like tag us in your promposal and the winner gets to have free services to get ready for prom, or there's different ways that we can incorporate into the traditional school calendar and incorporate ourselves so that we're again top of mind. So if they're doing promposals and they take pictures of it on social media and they tag us, then we will review all of those, and then the winner can get their hair and makeup done before prom. That's their prize, right? So
So
it's
cute.
a
Yeah.
win-win, and it doesn't really cost us anything because again, we don't all have deep pockets and your marketing budgets. So things like that, we definitely do. And I know you have this in here, but we have high school scholarships that are
Mhm.
designated just for high school students. And so they have a series of criteria that they have to complete, and then those are all assessed. And so we do scholarship announcement days. So it's not necessarily a signing day, but I did write that down. I think that's a great idea. So we do the high school scholarship days. We have different events that tie to just the high school market, but the high school scholarship is probably the biggest one for
Can I
obvious
ask what you guys
reasons.
do for that? Because when I worked for a school, we also did a high school scholarship. It was $500 for aesthetics, or nails, makeup, any of those programs. Cosmetology was $1,000 if you enrolled within a year of graduating. Can you explain what your terms are?
Yeah, so it's actually deeper pockets than that. It's $3,000. And so they
Nice.
have to go through, you have to be accepted, you have to submit a video essay. There's a handful of requirements that you need to go through. And then we assess those, and they're all due by a certain day. And then we announce them on a certain day. And it's a big event at the campus with the big
Oh, okay. That's a little different then. Okay.
yeah, like, we try to make it a really big I mean, it is, you should be really celebrated that day, so we want
Yeah.
them to keep the giant check and hang that up in their room, and
That's a cute idea. And
yeah.
so when do you do that announcement? How close to after high school graduation, or is it while they're still in school?
So they're all due, I want to say, next month, actually, so we want them
Oh,
to
okay.
start
So it's
right
while
after.
they're still in high school, you guys do, okay. And
Yep.
then will you honor a high school scholarship at all, like a year post
I
graduation or
think they have
anything
to
like
use it within there are all these requirements,
that?
and it
Okay.
is within the year, I believe you're right, yeah.
Okay. I do think that's a great idea. It's also a really great incentive, you guys, because what you hear a lot in admissions is, I do want to go to school. Like my mom wants me to, get my basics done at a community college first. Like it's good to give an incentive to come straight out of high school.
Mhm.
Another question I have for you, I might have written it down, or maybe I just said it in my head. But it was, are you seeing that people are going to school like right after they graduate, or do they
Yeah.
take a summer?
No, I would say it's a combination, but we actually, and I don't know if everybody is feeling the same way, we actually have a good number of students that graduate early. They're just done with high school and they can't wait to get on to beauty school, and they'll start in January, as early as January. So
Interesting.
they're done
Okay.
in December and they come right in. Um, but we really have a lot of students who start as early as June. So if they're done in May, if they could start in our May class, depending on when they're done. I know in the South, they graduate earlier in the calendar
Yep.
year than they do up north. So we tend to have our swell as June, July, August, and then it slows down. So we don't see a lot of people take the whole summer off. They're really excited to get going. Doesn't mean that some do, or that,
Sure.
obviously some do. So
I mean, it's important we start people when they're ready. I even just love a
yeah.
text message that's it's like, hey, I know you're graduating soon. Are you hoping to start right away, or did you want to enjoy your summer first and then start with our August class? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Asking questions like that to re-engage people. So we want to start people when they're ready, so they
Yeah.
don't drop, and right, and so
Yeah.
they don't have LOAs. So
Yeah.
I want to shift because time is going so quickly. How has this almost been an hour? You mentioned articulation agreements. I have no idea what you're talking about. So can you
So
share what this is?
yeah, I would say, and I have worked in higher ed for a number of years, and I've formed
Okay.
articulation agreements at almost every school group I've worked at. So it's not tied to just the beauty industry by any means. If you are in higher ed and you're in beauty or you're not, this is just a smart strategy. That's really not used all the time because it takes a lot of work and it takes effort of coordinating with your education department. But an articulation agreement is really key. So in the past, I worked for a group of schools in Louisiana, for example, and we formed articulation agreements with the parishes. So all of you probably have vocational schools in your area. I would imagine most of you do anyway. And a
Sure.
lot of those VOTEC schools offer something in the beauty industry, or if you run a culinary school or you run a mechanic school. And so you can form these relationships where they can complete some hours at that VOTEC school. And it's just like creating a transfer credit articulation agreement, right? So if you finish 500 hours at your VOTEC school, we're going to honor those and you're going to transfer right in. So it's a seamless transfer. Or at one of our schools, and we'll probably do this at a second location this calendar year, we actually train the high school students on our campus for part of the day.
Hmm.
So of course they're going to graduate and go to Tricoci. They're already going to Tricoci.
Right.
Um, so, and you generate some revenue by doing it that way. So you do it, whatever works for you. But I am so fortunate. I love my VP of Education, Larry Foster, love, love, love him. And he really partners with us on making all of those relationships a reality. You couldn't have a better relationship in your community than forming the articulation agreements. And for a group of schools to say, we believe in this education enough that we're going to sign an articulation agreement,
Hmm.
you couldn't have a better testament of trust that they trust you with their students, and then to pay you to educate them is just like
Awesome.
a beautiful sentiment that they trust you in the community. So it's a real stamp of trust as well. So
Cool.
if you have it in you, I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, I learned something new every time I'm on a webinar. Did not know about that. So thanks for sharing. We're going to wrap up the last few minutes. If you guys have questions, pop them in the chat. Or if you just have comments about today's webinar, also put them in there. But I have some like quick questions to ask Joy. One was, I don't know if you have any stats on this, but do you have any stats on enrollment with high school graduates, like over the years? Like, are you seeing more people come straight
Yes.
out of high school, or yeah, share about that.
So from 22 to 23, it went up, it literally doubled. It went up 50%. Obviously, we're still doing 23 to 24, but
Yep.
it really doubled. And obviously, that's a combination of us putting in the effort. I shared with everybody publicly, we really didn't do much with high school. And then we decided to really go after this market. And then COVID hit. We still
Mhm.
did it. We did all the virtual career fairs and tried to make it work. And I think we did a
Wow.
great job. So, but it's literally doubled over the last year.
See, that's incredible. And I think that's what you described is what I hear a lot from schools is that they were active in the high schools until COVID. They got out and they just got into this rhythm of just not really going back. So I
Yeah.
do think the schools that win this year, you guys, are the ones that are going to be in the high schools.
I
And
I just say one other thing, Jen, on
yeah,
that though,
absolutely.
because the other reason, again, like if you want to really impress your education team or work more closely with them, and you're working with the guidance counselors, they can help you shape the class. So you're going to get the best of the best students. You want that ultimately, right? Just like what Jen said, we don't want drops, we don't want LOAs. We want people who complete, who pass their licensing exams, and really
Right.
are pillars in the beauty industry. So it's a great way to do that. And high school seniors are really regimented. They're used to going to school every day, so their attendance is great. They tend to have family support. They're usually living at home, so they're going to have transportation and that support outside of the school to make sure they finish the program.
Such a
So
great point. Such a
yeah,
great
I
point.
would argue they're some of the best students in terms of retention because they're just used to going to school versus
Yeah.
I haven't gone to school for 5 years. It doesn't mean you can't still do it. You 100% can still do it, but it's new, right? Now you're getting used to going to school again. If I'm a high school senior,
Right.
I was going to school last week at my high school and now I'm going to school at Tricoci. There's no different, right?
Yeah, and that way then the schedule doesn't become such an
Yeah.
issue because we already know people are like, is it hybrid? Can I just come 2 days a week? And it's like
Yeah.
these kids are used to going to school 5 days a week anyway. So it just really is
And
getting the
following rules and yeah.
yeah. And I would also say if I'm in admissions, that's something I would even bring up. I would be
Yeah.
like, man, that what a great time for you to
Yeah.
be getting into this industry. You're coming
Yeah.
straight from, going to school every day. It's going to be an easy transition for
Yeah.
you. So that is definitely something I would say. Erica asked in the chat, do you guys notice, and of course we do, so let's share this. Do you guys notice certain months or quarters that you may experience low enrollment numbers?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely seasonality to it.
Yeah,
So if you have somebody from outside the industry just coming in, they won't understand this. I would say we're hitting the low season and about to go into our Super Bowl moments. Obviously, as high school seniors start to graduate, or even traditional age kids are thinking about going to school, we're going to come up to our high season mark. So unfortunately, if we have any CFOs on the call, this is a drag for them. Because they don't understand, like we have some peaks and valleys. It's not just a
true.
stagnant state. But absolutely, it's going to be slower. People aren't thinking about going to school in March necessarily, but give it a
Try
month.
enrolling someone a week before Christmas
Yeah.
or a
Oh,
start
right.
date,
Yes.
right?
Even
Or yeah,
November.
or
Yeah. 100.
Thanksgiving. It's
Yeah.
it's like I think after September, y'all, like that last quarter of the year is so hard because people are just
Yeah.
thinking, I'll just wait till January. And they
They're
do.
thinking of holidays. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that is beauty school industry. There are definitely highs and lows. So we can expect that, but we do love like a May start, a June start, depending on when you guys finish high school around there. My last question for you is going to be on communication. Are you noticing, do you have any sort of communication tips for dealing with high school students? Any sort of trends? And I want to bring up one trend that I keep hearing, and that's that parents are a lot more involved today. Like parents are going on the school's website and filling out the form.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing a lot more parent involvement. So would just love to hear from you what you're seeing at any sort of communication tips with our last 2 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. We still want to call the student and ideally
Yep.
get them on the phone, but a lot of times they won't respond until they've seen a text message saying, "Oh my gosh, Jen, I'm so excited to talk to you. My name is Joy, and I'm gonna call you from this phone number, and just know I'm just calling to talk to you about your interest in educate, whatever it is, blah blah
Love
blah."
that.
And so if they see the text come before I call, they seem to be more inclined to pick up
Mhm.
versus I'm not going to ever answer a call that I don't know who's calling me. So we rely heavily on text. Obviously, I think that that's just the trend. There's no debunking it, but our real goal is to get you on the phone and then to schedule an interview with you. So
Absolutely. So we do love a text message. So, and by the way, while we're just wrapping this up, I'm going to put this last question up here. And that's what kind of topics you guys want to see in upcoming webinars, because The well is running dry over here. I'm not going to lie. We've been doing this every month for 3 years, and we do have really great webinars. We have a full library, so go check it out on our website. But we need more topics. So I'm really just doing this so you guys can help my job. Please give me ideas for future webinars. We will bring on more guests. What kind of topics do you want to see? And I mean, we can even repeat some if that's something you're interested in. But please add to that. Yes, back to what you were saying, Joy, I think a really strong texting strategy is still super important, but I love that you were like, hey, it's me. I'm going to be calling you from this
Yeah.
number, like literally telling them
Pick
that.
up. Yeah. Pick
I
up my
think that's
call.
great.
Yeah.
Exactly. This has been such a fun webinar. This for sure has been a highlight for me from our webinar series. I think you've given such great nuggets. Thank you for being a pretty girl who does not gatekeep. We love that. Look at my dogs.
We're one team. We're one team, right?
Absolutely. Guys, we're at the top of the hour. I hope you all got a lot out of this. Thank you so much for joining. And we will see you next month in April with hopefully one of your really great ideas that y'all just gave me. Bye, you guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.